Did you know the current pope once lived in a dusty Peruvian town and still holds Peruvian citizenship? Or that the Inca capital was designed in the exact shape of a puma, with its head, body, and tail mapped across the city? From sand dunes taller than skyscrapers to jungle bears that inspired Paddington, Peru is a country full of stories that sound made up, but aren't. In this documentary, we're uncovering 16 incredible facts about Peru that are 100% real, deeply fascinating, and totally unexpected. This isn't one of those fake travel clips with dramatic music and invented claims. These are true facts, backed by history, science, and culture. Unfortunately, I don't have unlimited access to footage or visuals from Peru, so some clips in this video are used for illustrative purposes only. I've done my absolute best to bring you accurate, fascinating facts about Peru using the material available. Thank you for your understanding. I truly appreciate your support, and I hope you enjoy the journey just as much as I enjoyed creating it. Fact 1. The Peruvian Pope, Leo XIV's surprising journey from Chicago to Chiclayo. While many popes have had international influence, few have lived such an unexpected double life as Pope Leo XIV. Born Robert Francis Prevost in Chicago in the mid-20th century, he is now head of the Catholic Church. But what most people don't know is that he spent over 2 decades living and serving in Peru. As a member of the Augustinian order, he arrived in Peru as a missionary and dedicated his life to the people of Chiclayo, a city in northern Peru. His work among the poor and indigenous communities was so respected that he eventually became the Bishop of Chiclayo. He didn't just visit. He lived there, served there, and became one of them, even obtaining Peruvian citizenship in the year 2015. The locals called him Padre Roberto, and he earned a reputation for humility, service, and cultural understanding. Fast forward to the year 2025, and this same man is now Pope Leo XIV, with a heart deeply shaped by the Andean spirit. So yes, the current pope has sand from Peru's deserts in his shoes, and probably ceviche in his memories. Fact 2. The oldest civilization in the Americas, Corral, the Forgotten Cradle. Long before the Incas built Machu Picchu or the Mayans raised pyramids in Mexico, there was Corral. Located in the Supe Valley of coastal Peru, Corral is considered the oldest known civilization in the Americas, dating back nearly 5,000 years. That means Corral was thriving around the same time as the pyramids of Egypt and the Sumerian ziggurats, yet most people have never even heard of it. This ancient urban center had sophisticated architecture, including sunken circular plazas and massive platform mounds, all built without the use of metal tools or even pottery. But perhaps the most shocking part is what archaeologists didn't find: no signs of warfare. Corral appears to have been a peaceful society that valued trade, spirituality, and music. They even discovered flutes made from condor and pelican bones. The city stretched across more than 60 hectares and supported thousands of inhabitants, marking it as a true urban society. It turns the timeline of the Americas on its head and proves that Peru was shaping civilization while much of the world was still figuring out how to farm. And yet somehow Corral still flies under the radar. Fact 3. The Inca Empire, South America's hidden superpower. The Inca Empire, known as Tawantinsuyu in the Quechua language, wasn't just a regional power. It was the largest empire in the pre-Columbian Americas, stretching an astonishing 2,500 miles from modern-day Ecuador all the way down to central Chile. At its peak in the 15th century, it ruled over roughly 12 million people and more than 100 distinct ethnic groups, without the wheel, without a written language, and without iron tools. The Incas developed an extraordinary road system of over 24,000 miles, complete with rope bridges, stone-paved highways, and runners trained to deliver messages using a system of knotted cords called quipu. Their administrative system was so efficient that they could mobilize an army or distribute food across mountains and deserts faster than many empires with far more advanced technology. They built terraces that fed entire populations, conducted complex surgeries, and worshipped the sun as a divine force. Even the Spanish conquistadors, who eventually destroyed the empire, were stunned by its organization and wealth. The Inca were not just mountain dwellers. They were master engineers, agriculturalists, and empire builders who left a legacy that still shapes Peru today. Fact 4. Cusco, the city shaped like a puma. In the heart of the Andes lies Cusco, the historic capital of the Inca Empire, and quite possibly the most cleverly designed city in the ancient world. According to both legend and archaeological study, the Incas laid out the city in the shape of a puma, a sacred animal representing strength, agility, and protection. This wasn't just symbolic fluff. Major city sectors were arranged to form the body, tail, and legs, while the massive fortress of Sacsayhuaman formed the puma's head. The main square, Plaza de Armas, lay at the belly, and the Tulumayo and Huatanay rivers outlined the puma's contours like divine blueprints. This urban planning wasn't just artistic. It reflected deep spiritual cosmology, blending geography, astronomy, and architecture into a living, breathing symbol of power. Every stone in the city was placed with intention, precision, and reverence. When the Spanish arrived and destroyed much of the original layout, they built their own churches on top of Incan temples, yet many of the foundations remain untouched, unshaken after centuries of earthquakes. Cusco wasn't just the capital of an empire, it was a cosmic city, a sacred puma sleeping in the mountains, keeping watch over the empire of the sun. Fact 5. Choquequirao, the lost sister of Machu Picchu. While Machu Picchu steals all the global spotlight, Peru hides another jaw-dropping Incan citadel high in the Andes, Choquequirao. Nicknamed the Cradle of Gold, this archaeological wonder sits at roughly 3,050 meters above sea level, making it even higher than Machu Picchu. What's truly wild is that it's about 3 times larger in area, yet barely known to the outside world. Hidden among cloud forests and steep canyons, Choquequirao remained untouched for centuries, protected by its remoteness. Getting there isn't easy. There's no train or luxury bus. Visitors must hike for 2 days through rugged terrain just to reach it, which means fewer crowds and a far more raw, intimate experience with history. The site features extensive agricultural terraces, ceremonial plazas, and intricate stonework carved into mountain ridges. Some of its walls even depict llamas, an homage to the sacred animals of the Andes. Archaeologists believe it served as a royal estate, or possibly a final refuge for Inca resistance fighters after the Spanish conquest. Choquequirao is like the rebel sibling of Machu Picchu, less polished, harder to reach, but arguably even more impressive once you arrive. Fact 6. The Nazca Lines, messages for the gods or ancient airport. Scattered across the arid plains of southern Peru, the Nazca Lines are one of the world's greatest ancient enigmas. Stretching over 800 miles of desert, these enormous geoglyphs include over 300 geometric designs and more than 70 figures of animals, plants, and humanoid shapes, some as long as 370 meters. They depict hummingbirds, spiders, monkeys, and even what some believe could be alien-like beings. Created by the Nazca culture between 500 BCE and 500 CE, the designs were etched into the ground by removing the top layer of reddish pebbles to reveal the lighter earth beneath. But here's the real mystery. The full images can only be properly seen from the air, thousands of feet above. And yet this culture had no known flying technology. Were the lines meant to be seen by gods in the sky? Were they astronomical calendars? Ritual pathways? Some wild theories even suggest they were ancient landing strips. While many scholars believe they had religious or ceremonial significance, their exact purpose remains unsolved. The Nazca Lines are a desert canvas of cosmic proportions, giant art from a people who clearly thought big, dreamed bigger, and maybe even worshipped the stars. Fact 7. Peru, a megadiverse marvel of nature. If biodiversity were an Olympic sport, Peru would be standing proudly on the podium. Officially recognized as one of the world's 17 mega-diverse countries, Peru is bursting at the seams with life, thanks to its unique combination of towering Andes, lush Amazon rainforest, and sprawling Pacific coastline. It ranks among the global top 5 for both bird and mammal species, and boasts the world's 4th largest area of tropical rainforest, second only to giants like Brazil and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Over 25,000 plant species have been recorded here. and more than 100 endemic animals, meaning they exist nowhere else on Earth. The Amazon basin alone shelters pink river dolphins, jaguars, giant otters, and elusive tree frogs that scientists are still discovering to this day. Head west, and you'll find marine wonders like sea lions and Humboldt penguins chilling along the cold coastal currents. And climb high into the Andes, and you might spot the rare vicuna, the wild cousin of the alpaca. From mountaintops to jungle rivers, Peru is a living, breathing museum of evolution, where nature decided to show off, and it never stopped. Fact 8. Peru has nearly every climate on Earth. Imagine standing in a freezing mountain tundra in the morning, crossing into a tropical jungle by noon, and falling asleep that night in the middle of a coastal desert. In Peru, that's not a fantasy, it's just another Tuesday. This country packs an astonishing variety of climates into a single nation. In fact, Peru contains 28 out of the 32 globally recognized climate types. That's right, nearly every major climate zone on Earth exists here. From the arid, Mars-like deserts of Nazca and Paracas, to the humid depths of the Amazon rainforest, to the icy peaks of the Andes that scrape the clouds above 5,000 meters, Peru is like a planetary sampler. In some regions, such as Arequipa or Cajamarca, you can experience hot and cold seasons simultaneously just by driving a few kilometers up or down the mountain. This dramatic variation isn't just a meteorological curiosity. It shapes Peru's biodiversity, agriculture, cuisine, and even the way people live. Potato grown in one valley might not survive in the next. It's no wonder this country is a paradise for scientists, adventurers, and nature lovers alike. Peru isn't just diverse, it's a miniature planet disguised as a nation. Fact 9. Lake Titicaca, the world's highest navigable lake. Lake Titicaca isn't just a pretty name. It's a place that rewrites geography books. Sitting at an altitude of roughly 3,810 meters above sea level, this legendary body of water is the highest navigable lake on the planet. That means boats can and do sail here, including ferries, fishing vessels, and even cargo boats. Shared between Peru and Bolivia, the lake spans over 8,000 square kilometers, making it the largest lake in South America by volume. But it's more than just high and wide, it's deeply sacred. According to Incan mythology, Lake Titicaca is the birthplace of the sun and the origin point of the Inca people. The lake is dotted with dozens of islands, including the remarkable floating Uros Islands, handmade from totora reeds by indigenous communities who still live on them today. Step onto these islands and you'll feel like you're walking on a soft trampoline. The crystal-clear waters reflect snow-capped peaks, while ancient ruins lie submerged beneath the surface, adding a layer of mystery to the lake's spiritual reputation. Here, the air is thin, but the history and culture are incredibly thick. Fact 10. Cotahuasi Canyon, twice as deep as the Grand Canyon. Think the Grand Canyon is the deepest in the world? Think again. Hidden in the remote highlands of southern Peru lies Cotahuasi Canyon, a jaw-dropping natural wonder that plunges to depths of approximately 3,354 meters, making it more than twice as deep as the Grand Canyon in the United States. Carved by the Cotahuasi River over millions of years, this canyon slices dramatically through the Andes between snow-capped volcanic peaks and ancient terraced slopes. Despite its epic size, Cotahuasi remains largely unknown to international travelers, in part because it's incredibly remote. Reaching it requires a rugged 12-hour drive from the city of Arequipa. But those who make the journey are rewarded with staggering views, ancient ruins, towering waterfalls, and encounters with indigenous communities still living traditional lifestyles. Hikers, geologists, and off-the-beaten-path adventurers consider it one of Peru's best-kept secrets. Compared to the selfie stick chaos of the Grand Canyon, Cotahuasi is wild, silent, and untouched, a vertical kingdom where condors soar and the earth yawns open without warning. Fact 11. Cerro Blanco, one of the tallest sand dunes on Earth. When people think of Peru, they often imagine ancient ruins or steamy jungles. But nestled in the scorched desert near Nazca lies Cerro Blanco, a sand dune of mythical proportions. Rising about 1,176 meters from its base, Cerro Blanco is among the tallest sand dunes on the planet. To put that into perspective, it's taller than any mountain in the United Kingdom and even surpasses the Empire State Building by several hundred meters. But unlike most dunes that gradually form low rolling hills, Cerro Blanco towers over the landscape like a sand titan, commanding attention from miles away. Adventurers trek hours to its summit just for the chance to sandboard down its face, a descent so long it feels more like skiing a mountain than playing in a sandbox. The dune is part of the coastal Sechura Desert, where wind, time, and geology conspired to create a skyscraper made entirely of sand. And here's the kicker. Despite its staggering height, it's so isolated and undervisited that you'll likely have the entire dune to yourself. It's one of Peru's least known giants, patiently waiting to swallow your footprints in silence. Fact 12. The spectacled bear, South America's shy and shaggy guardian. Tucked away in the misty cloud forests and jagged Andean highlands of Peru lives a creature straight out of a jungle fairy tale, the spectacled bear, also known as the Andean bear. It's the only bear species native to South America, and it's as rare as it is endearing. Named for the unique pale markings around its eyes that resemble eyeglasses, each bear's spectacles are one of a kind, like nature's fingerprint. Despite being the continent's largest carnivorous land mammal, this bear is mostly vegetarian, munching on fruits, bromeliads, cacti, and even palm hearts. Unlike its aggressive northern cousins, the spectacled bear is a solitary and elusive animal, avoiding humans whenever possible and nesting in trees like a stealthy forest ghost. But its mysterious charm hasn't protected it from danger. Habitat loss and poaching have pushed it onto the vulnerable species list. This bear isn't just cute and shy, it's deeply sacred to many Andean cultures, appearing in folklore as a gentle forest spirit. And yes, if the bear seems familiar, that's because it inspired the beloved fictional character Paddington Bear, who, as the story goes, came from darkest Peru. Not so fictional after all, is he? Fact 13. Peru speaks in over 50 different languages. Peru may be famous for ancient ruins and breathtaking landscapes, but it also holds a linguistic treasure trove that most people overlook. While Spanish is the official and most widely spoken language, Peru is home to over 50 native languages, including Quechua, Aymara, and dozens of lesser-known Amazonian tongues. Quechua, the language of the Inca Empire, is still spoken by more than 3 million people across the Andes, making it one of the most widely spoken indigenous languages in the Americas. Aymara, mostly spoken in the highlands near Lake Titicaca, is known for its rich oral tradition and philosophical expressions, such as describing time as something you see in front of you and the future as something that comes from behind. But the real linguistic gold lies in the Amazon, where languages like Ashaninka, Shipibo-Kanabo, and Yanesha are still used daily in isolated communities. Some of these tongues are spoken by only a few hundred people, making every word a living fossil. The Peruvian government even broadcasts educational programs in indigenous languages to preserve and promote this incredible diversity. Peru doesn't just whisper in Spanish, it sings in dozens of ancient dialects, each carrying centuries of culture, memory, and identity. Fact 14. Ceviche, Peru's ancient culinary masterpiece. Think ceviche is just a trendy seafood dish for foodies on Instagram? Think again. Ceviche is ancient, and it may very well be one of the oldest continuously prepared dishes in the world. Long before the Spanish arrived with their limes and onions, coastal Peruvians were marinating fresh fish in fermented juices, chili peppers, and herbs. Archaeological evidence suggests that a primitive form of ceviche was being made 2,000 to 3,000 years ago by cultures such as the Moche and Paracas, who used local fruit-based acids from passion fruit or tumbo, a type of Andean banana passion fruit, instead of citrus. Today's ceviche is a zesty mix of raw white fish cooked in lime juice, blended with red onions, cilantro, salt, and a fiery kiss of ají limo chili. It's typically served with sweet potato, concha corn, or seaweed, each ingredient carefully balancing the others in flavor and texture. But it's not just a dish, it's a national symbol. Peruvians love their ceviche so much that it has its own holiday, National Ceviche Day, celebrated every June 28th. For Peruvians, ceviche is more than food. It's heritage served on a plate, raw, real, and spiced with history. Fact 15. Peru, the birthplace of the potato and thousands of its cousins. If you've ever eaten French fries, mashed potatoes, chips, or gnocchi, you owe a silent thank you to Peru. This humble Andean nation is the birthplace of the potato, where it was first domesticated over 7,000 years ago. And we're not talking about a handful of varieties. Peru boasts more than 4,000 edible potato types, each with its own shape, color, texture, and flavor. Some are deep purple, others bright yellow. Some grow at high altitudes, while others thrive in the cloud forests. There are potatoes that taste like chestnuts, others like butter, and even some that smell like fresh earth after rain. The ancient Inca revered the potato as a gift from the gods, using it not only as food, but also for medicine and rituals. Today, Peruvians continue to grow these native varieties in traditional terraced fields called Andinaria, often without pesticides or machines. There's even an international potato park near Cusco, where indigenous farmers and scientists work together to preserve this tuber treasure. So next time you're munching on fries, remember, you're tasting a little piece of Peruvian genius that fed empires and changed global cuisine forever. Living in Peru, a budget-friendly dream with real-world considerations. For expats and digital nomads chasing both adventure and affordability, Peru offers a surprisingly balanced lifestyle. Major cities like Lima, Arequipa, and Cusco provide modern infrastructure, stable internet, and a variety of housing options, while the cost of living remains dramatically lower than in North America or Western Europe. A modest but comfortable monthly budget starts around $700 to $800 USD, which can cover rent, groceries, local transport, and basic healthcare. A single expat living simply in a mid-range district of Lima can rent a one-bedroom apartment for around $350 to $500 USD, while in smaller towns or more rural areas, prices drop even further. Food is where Peru shines. Markets overflow with fresh produce, and eating out is incredibly affordable. A hearty local lunch, called Menú del Día, costs just $3 to $5 USD, including soup, main dish, and a drink. High-end restaurants serving world-famous Peruvian cuisine are also reasonably priced by Western standards. Healthcare is available through both public and private systems. Many expats opt for private clinics, where a general consultation costs around $20 to $40 USD, and full coverage insurance starts from about $50 USD per month. Peru's visa options include tourist visas, 90 days, temporary residence permits, and retirement or investment visas. Many expats also find opportunities teaching English, freelancing, or running online businesses. However, formal jobs for foreigners require a work visa and employer sponsorship, and the job market can be competitive. Peru combines cultural richness, natural beauty, and economic feasibility. Just don't expect European efficiency. This is Latin America, where the pace is slower, bureaucracy is real, but the rewards are vast. If you enjoyed this journey through the incredible facts and secrets of Peru, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow. Subscribe to Andy Explores the World so you never miss our next adventure to a place you didn't even know you needed to visit. Got a favorite fact or your own story about Peru? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. And if you know someone planning to move abroad or just loves mind-blowing travel facts, share this video with them too. Thanks for watching. And remember, the world is full of surprises. We're just getting started.